Welcome to Logic Medico. This endodermal pouch, most of the students fear this, but it's extremely easy. The endodermal pouches are within the floor of the oral cavity and the pharynx. They are called as pharyngeal pouches or endodermal pouches. They are called endodermal because they are within. They are called pharyngeal because they are inside of the pharynx. The first and second endodermal pouch on the lateral aspect unites to form a recess called as tubotympanic recess. This tubotympanic recess, the distal portion dilates to form the tympanic cavity, the proximal portion narrows to form eustachian tube. That's why it's called tubotympanic recess. So the first and second endodermal pouch give rise to tubotympanic recess. The tubo component give rise to eustachian tube. The tympanic component dilates to form the cubical chamber in the pittress part of temporal bone called as tympanic cavity. That finishes first endodermal pouch. Also, we can note between this first and second endodermal pouch, there will be one diverticulum growing downwards from the foramen cecum or the sulcus terminalis in the midline. This diverticulum in the midline is called as thyroglossal diverticulum. So this thyroglossal diverticulum initially is tubular like this, subsequently dilates like this, okay, and then further it will become like a butterfly shaped gland over here, lowermost part. So thyroglossal diverticulum will ultimately give rise to an endocrine gland which is present in the lower and anterior part of neck in front of this tube called as trachea. So what is this? Can you guess now by now? What is this butterfly shape, that green color in front of trachea? If you are told thyroid gland, then you are told the correct answer, after which the thyroglossal diverticulum should disappear once the thyroid gland is formed. So the follicular cells of the thyroid are developed from endoderm between first and second pouch as a diverticulum called as thyroglossal diverticulum. It's called thyroglossal because it gives rise to thyroid gland, glossal because it comes in the junction between anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3. It's called diverticulum because it is an outpouching. So this finishes the first and second pouch. One more aspect is there with respect to second pouch. Other than tubotympanic recess, the second pouch gives rise to the crypts in the tonsil. It's called tonsillar crypts. So the summary of first and second pouch is it gives rise to tubotympanic recess. It gives rise to thyroglossal diverticulum. It gives rise to tonsillar crypts. Second pouch especially. The first and second pouch, tubotympanic recess, giving rise to eustachian tube and tympanic cavity. The junction between first and second pouch gives rise to thyroglossal diverticulum, which ultimately gives rise to thyroid gland, the endocrine gland, the follicular cells of thyroid producing T3, T4. The second pouch gives rise to tonsillar crypt, the depressions in the inner surface of the tonsil. So this is about the first and second pouch. The third and fourth pouch is very interesting because it gives rise to two parathyroids, that is superior and inferior parathyroid. To understand this, first we have to know where is parathyroid located. Parathyroid is located on either side in the lateral lobe of thyroid gland. I will just show you now. Just give me a second. This is the parathyroid location. So there is a pair of superior parathyroid and a pair of inferior parathyroid. So we have two pouches here, the third pouch and the fourth pouch. So whatever comes from the third pouch, we can call it as parathyroid 3, PTH3. Okay, whatever comes from the fourth pouch, we can call it as parathyroid 4, PTH. The point here is the parathyroid 4, we expect the parathyroid 3 is higher, so it will give rise to superior parathyroid. PTH4 is lower level here. So we expect that it will give rise to inferior parathyroid. But the point here is the parathyroid 4 will be remaining there itself, okay, to give rise to superior parathyroid gland. Whereas the parathyroid 3 is developed along with one lymphoid tissue called as thymus. So thymus initially it is there in the neck, later it will descend downwards like this into the mediastinum, the superior mediastinum, it will descend downwards. So when it is descending downwards, don't you think it will pull this neighbor? The neighbor is parathyroid 3. So the parathyroid 3 comes downwards, but it will not go into the mediastinum. It will come and get located over here. It will come and get placed over here. It will be dragged downwards. This is parathyroid 3. It will be dragged downwards because thymus descends downwards. That's all you have to know. So I will tell you one more time. The parathyroid, there are two parathyroid, superior parathyroid, inferior parathyroid. They are developed from parathyroid 3, the third endodermal pouch, parathyroid 4, fourth endodermal pouch. We expect parathyroid 3 to give rise to superior and parathyroid 4 to give rise to inferior, but opposite things happen. That is, the parathyroid 4 will remain there itself. Why it remains there itself? Because along with parathyroid 3, okay, one more thing is developed. What is it? One more thing I'll show you. Along with parathyroid 3, one lobe will develop. That's called lateral thyroids. Lateral thyroids limits the descent of the thyroglossal duct. This one. The actual green color, whatever written, no? That one. Thyroid gland is forming. The lateral thyroid is coming from fourth pouch. So lateral thyroid tries to limit the descent of the thyroid gland. So parathyroid 4 remains there itself to give rise to superior parathyroid. That is very simple. Now why does parathyroid 3 come downward? Parathyroid 3 comes downward because along with parathyroid 3 from the third pouch, one lymphoid tissue is growing. That lymphoid tissue name is thymus. So thymus descends down from the neck into the mediastinum. When it is descending down from the neck into the mediastinum, from the upper part of the neck it is descending, it will drag the parathyroid downwards. So therefore, the parathyroid 3 becomes inferior parathyroid. I hope this concept is clear. To summarize the development of thyroid gland mainly develops from thyroglossal diverticulum, the follicular cells of the thyroid. Whereas the parafollicular cells of thyroid are developed from this purple color, whatever written. That is called as lateral thyroid, also called as caudal pharyngeal complex. Caudal means downwards. Pharyngeal means in the pharynx. Complex means it's slightly complicated. Caudal pharyngeal complex, also called ultimobrachial body. They will be sprinkled into the thyroid like this. That's why it forms ultimobrachial body. They are called parafollicular cells. That is a summary of development of thyroid gland. Whereas parathyroid, which are 4 in number, these parathyroids which are 4 in number, they are developed from the parathyroid 4 develops from fourth pouch. It will give rise to superior parathyroid, whereas the parathyroid 3, which grows from the third pouch, it grows further downwards. It is here, okay. Along with thymus, it will grow. Thymus. So thymus grows downward. So the superior parathyroid 3 is there, no? Parathyroid 3 will be dragged downwards. So superior parathyroid is coming from parathyroid 4, no confusion over there. Inferior parathyroid is coming from parathyroid 3 or the third pouch, because thymus, which is developed in the middle of the neck, will be dragged down into the mediastinum is the answer. If you remember this, you are a genius. Thank you for watching and learning from Logic Medico.